Ever since Grinding Gear Games announced Path of Exile 2 would be a separate game from PoE1, it's been questioned, will PoE2 kill Path of Exile 1? Well, with the latest string of leagues and the newest PoE1 release date announcement, the questions are rising again in various forms. Is PoE2 killing PoE1? How much of PoE1 shall be sacrificed for PoE2? Why is Grinding Gear Games favoring PoE2 over PoE1? This video aims to outline several viewpoints on this matter, ultimately ending with my opinion on the much more divisive question, should Path of Exile 2 kill PoE1? Viewpoint 1. This is all temporary. I'd like to begin with the nuanced middle-of-the-road, good-faith approach that's realistic and is presently how Grinding Gear Games is framing the conversation from their perspective. This development imbalance between the games is temporary. Right now, Path of Exile 2 needs more love. It's in early access, the base game is still unfinished, and it is not nearly as content-rich or dense as Path of Exile 1, admittedly from the developers and the players. Thus, more development effort is going toward PoE2. Grinding Gear Games has repeated over and over that PoE2 shall not end PoE1, and the game will receive updates for years to come. While it has been receiving new leagues recently, which is amazing, some players are upset with the volume of content and changes within those updates. This opinion posits that once PoE2 is fully released, meaning it has all 6 of its acts, all 12 of its classes, and all 36 Ascendancy classes and a functioning endgame all out, more love will go to Path of Exile 1 again. Players hope it shall receive substantial endgame revamps, more sweeping balance changes, more fascinating new ways to build and challenge your character, maybe even the legendary 4.0 update that PoE2 initially was, bringing better graphics and animations to all of Path of Exile 1 instead of just Lion Eye's Watch in Act 1. This future, which again is what Grinding Gear Games has hinted toward, would be the best of both worlds for the entire Path of Exile community. PoE1 gets big updates every 4 months, and so does PoE2, with new content being pushed out by GGG every 2 months. It's ambitious, but possible, and will keep revenue coming in for GGG across both player bases. It also would lead to the least division between players who only play one game or the other. One of the possible cons is burnout for both the developers and players who play both, but it sounds like PoE1 now has a small, dedicated team at Triple G, which should lead to a bit less stretching of resources there. Of course, there's a bit of an imbalance presently where a new PoE2 content comes out 1 month or so after a PoE1 update. That is something that can easily be corrected by Grinding Gear Games in the future with some moving of dates. Succinctly, the most optimistic and public-facing viewpoint from Grinding Gear Games is the jankiness and unevenness of PoE releases is a flash in the pan. And once both games are fully going, creating content for both will be much easier. Viewpoint 2. PoE1 is gonna die. Next, here's the much more pessimistic perspective. Path of Exile 1 is going to die, and Grinding Gear Games are actively but quietly killing it. PoE2 is getting most of the focus, that much is certain. From social media and post-patch hotfixes and updates to press and marketing campaigns from GGG, the game is the future. PoE1 isn't, and that's a doing and realization of GGG. Path of Exile 1 updates aren't as large or game-changing, and the established audience, while large and dedicated for now, will continue to wane, and most new players will discover and play PoE2, not PoE1. Eventually, as existing players move on to different games or fall out of love with PoE1, the player numbers will drop, supporter pack sales will plummet, and making content for PoE1 will no longer be justifiable. It'll be placed into maintenance mode, and 95% of Grinding Gear Games' attention will go to PoE2, leaving PoE1 in the past. Eventually, all 100% of that attention will go to PoE2. This perspective is quite popular, especially amongst players who either don't like PoE2 or feel disenfranchised by it. Originally, PoE2 was meant to be the biggest expansion to PoE1 of all time, and it became something else. A new game wherein most of Grinding Gear Games' development efforts have been focused since 2019. The content drought between Settlers of Kalgur and Mercenaries of Trarthus burned them, and despite Grinding Gear Games' promise to deliver new PoE1 updates consistently, they've been stung already and think this is a placation, a short-term plan leading to the end of PoE1 once PoE2 is a fully released product, and that makes them sad. PoE1 was their favorite game, and they feel it's on the way out for a variety of reasons, but the easiest one to point to is Path of Exile 2, and they don't think that game merits the demise of the long-standing king of ARPGs. Viewpoint 3. PoE2 is a failure. Now, here's an interesting view I've read and heard from various smaller but vocal parts of the community. PoE2 is a failure. It will die out after release, and Grinding Gear Games will revert back to full focus toward Path of Exile 1 to keep their company afloat. This, I reckon, is the only farcical and detached opinion in this video that is still relatively popular. Thinking PoE1 is going to die entirely is understandable. Looking at the reception to PoE2 and thinking it's a dead game is not, unless you're deciding to toss out the evidence. The game's currently paid. It spiked to almost 600,000 players on Steam during its initial launch and nearly had 1 million concurrents at launch across all platforms like standalone and console, according to Jonathan Rogers. Each update has brought back a substantial number of players, and retention is phenomenal, especially since the repetitive, retention-focused content of the game is not fully developed or even iterated on. The game's still in early access and missing tons of base content like swords and axes, 2-axe, and a ton of quality of life features and ascendancy classes, yet players are still thoroughly enjoying it. Some so much so they are willing to restart a month into the current league and blow up a private league into the biggest one across both games. Monetarily, publicly, just objectively, PoE2 is not a failure, and it will be around for many years to come. That's clear. But should PoE1 exist alongside it? My viewpoint: PoE1's golden age is over. Finally, here's my perspective on it all. Path of Exile 2 is the future of Grinding Gear Games, and Path of Exile 1's golden age has come to an end. I reckon Path of Exile 1 will not fully die or be killed by Grinding Gear Games, but the possibilities within that game have a limit. PoE2 reaches a far greater audience than PoE1. Prettier, it flows better, it's easier to understand but still builds deep ideas. It does so many archetypes and fantasies the best in the business, like the Druid, and more things are coming. It has grabbed untold numbers of players who refuse to try PoE1 or tried and bounced, but are now addicted to PoE2. Plus, PoE2 has more potential for new and exciting ideas than PoE1. Between boss fights, area design, skill creation, item possibilities, ascendancy classes, novel league mechanics, it appears the production quality is much higher, and the sky is the limit for new things in PoE2, wherein many PoE1 new ideas are being cleverly recycled by the developers. And here's another. I think Grinding Gear Games are more passionate and excited about PoE2 because of all this. It's brand new. It has a limitless ceiling. They can do whatever they like without those limits, and in early access, it's already a financial success. Once it goes free to play, the player base unlocks and they can do what they do best with PoE2. Develop ridiculous, imaginative ideas in a sandbox that has hundreds of shiny new toys for them to wield. It's not only a boon for the players, but the devs as well. And it shows when they speak about PoE2. This is vital. While they of course love PoE1 and always will, I theorize their passion lies with PoE2 right now. And I don't think this is a fleeting passion. I think PoE1 will continue to have new leagues, I hope it does, but they will be small, more contained. Grinding Gear Games will refresh balance, add new mechanics to the game, and perhaps even make good on the updated animation and graphic promise, because PoE1 will always have a passionate, active player base. But I think the golden age is over, and the split in 2 to 3 years' time will be 80% PoE2 effort and 20%, or honestly less, PoE1. Of course, this is just a theory, and I could always be off the mark. Conclusion: should PoE2 kill PoE1? No, but PoE2 should continue to receive more focus. It is the future. This comes from someone who has played PoE1 since 2019, has many level 100 characters, numerous 36 or 40 out of 40 challenge runs, and has now played 4 leagues of PoE2 and introduced dozens of personal friends and family to both games. All of them adore PoE2, and every single one bounced from Path of Exile 1. The same from the tens of thousands of comments I've read on my own videos can be said for a huge number of other players. PoE2 is the future, but I would not like to see Path of Exile 1 die for it. What's your opinion on the matter? Am I wrong or right here? Do you agree with some of the views I laid out, or do you have a different one? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoy the video. It's been a while since I have done an actual essay. I'll see you in the next one. Stay sane and have fun.